Hey guys, so I decided to add this little clip at the beginning retroactively, but I just wanted to mention that I added a couple of new designs to my ongoing Dark Cyber Dragon merch collection on my Teespring, featuring Toon Cyber Dragon and Cyber Dragon Nova. So if you were interested in some Cyber Dragon merch, feel free to check my Teespring out, link in the description below. Anyways, let's get to the actual video. Hey guys, so here's another live duel gameplay from a few weeks ago where I was going up against Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc. Now apologies for the slanted camera angle here, the time in the match already started, so I had to rush to set up my camera. But anyways guys, hope you enjoyed this condensed gameplay. So we are of course going second for this game 1. Our opponent is going to start off with the fractal effect to Foolish, and apologies here, you can't actually see my opponent's graveyard, so I'll try my best to commentate what the card is. And he is just going to send the Nerval, which again, you unfortunately can't see it in this angle. Now with Nerval's effect, he's going to be able to add, and he's going to add the Karis to the hand, and this is where I do fortunately hit him with the Duel, which is very impactful against at least the Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc variant. Now unfortunately my hand, other than this and another hand trap, I don't actually have really any extenders, not that much at least, so you know, I'm just hoping that I can at least fend him off from putting up something too oppressive. So he's going to special the Karis by pitching the Kit. And then Kit's gonna trigger, and he's just gonna Foolish the Cobalt. So he's gonna use Karis's effect, banish 2 to try to special, but I fortunately do have the Imperm, so 2 really good hand traps, at least in this situation. Next, he's going to special out the Dinotherium, something that I didn't really see often. It basically just allows you to special from hand once. And he's just gonna link those 2 off into the Frigate. He's gonna use the effect to special out the Wagtail, and normally it's gonna be able to add a Lyrilusc spell or trap, but he is under draw, so he can't add right there. So he's just gonna link off right away into that Simorgh link, and he's just gonna set one, and in end phase, gonna be able to special out the Mesphale Apex Evian for that Omni Negate. So even through 2 hand traps and even draw at that, he is still able to put up 1 negate and another mystery set. So for my turn, again, my hand, other than the 2 hand traps, really wasn't that good. I remember I had a Red Eyes Fusion, and I also had a Red Eyes Black Dragon as well. So I'm going to force out that Mesphale Apex Evian by just hard activating the Red Eyes Fusion. He really doesn't have a choice, otherwise he's just going to get blown up there. And so because that is banished, or rather negated, I'm now going to activate the Cyclone to banish this set, which I believe was an Imperm. I am going to special out the Cyber Dragon and just contact fuse into that Mega Fleet and attack for 2400, and that's really all I have. Like I said, I was able to fend him off, but I didn't really have much to get myself going as well. But fortunately, looks like he doesn't have much either, so he just passes with nothing. And unfortunately, I actually did draw Baby Cyber Dragon. Now I did draw the hers, so I can just go into that Anaconda play to bring out the Rampage for game. Of course, I'm just going to trigger the hers first and add that Cyber Dragon. You could also just hold on to that effect after you go into Rampage and send the hers and the core, and then just add back the core later. Really depends. And so my opponent does see the writing on the wall, and he does scoop here, and we're just going to go into game 2. Now we are moving on to game 2, and he actually forces me to go first, and I was kind of surprised by this. I think with Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc, like the turn 1 board is just so oppressive. I think it's just better for them to go first. I think they would have a better chance of winning, but regardless, we are going first, and our hand is actually not too bad. So I am going to start off the turn with the Pot of Prosperity. Really improves the consistency in our deck. So we're going to banish the 6 and reveal. So it's Machine Dupe, Roll, Kaiju, Galaxy Soldier, Core, and another Machine Dupe. Now at this point, I am worried that he may have Gamma, because I know those lists typically play it. So, you know, adding the Core, it can be risky if you're, let's say, for example, trying to Machine Dupe it, because Core is going to blow up, whereas if you add something like hers or Naxter, for example, where they don't have an effect that triggers on the summon, you could still at least be able to resolve the dupe if they have the Gamma. But my hand, I did have a backup option, so I'm actually baiting the Gamma here with the Core, and in fact, he does actually have the Gamma, so it is going to get blown up, and he's going to just bring out the driver from deck as well. So next, I am going to use the Repair Plan to add a Light Machine, and we're going to add the hers. So we're going to pitch the hers to special out the Naxter, and the hers is going to trigger to add a special to add a Cyber Dragon from either deck or grave to hand, and because Core is a Cyber Dragon in grave, I'm just going to add that back to hand just for the follow-up play next turn. And I did have the Machine Dupe, so this was sort of my backup play if the Core got Gamma, which it did. So we're going to special out the 2 Cyber Dragons. So we'll just overlay those two, go into Nova, and of course use Nova's effect to detach, and we're just going to special out the same Cyber Dragon that we just detached because we did already have a target engraved in hers. We're just going to plop that infinity on there, and of course just go into Anaconda. And remember, I did not use Naxxter's effect to special summon from grave, so that's why I am not locked into machines in case anyone's going to try to bring that up. That's only if you use the revival effect and you would be locked into machines. So we're going to use Anaconda's effect, pay cost, send out Red Eyes Fusion, and send the Red Eyes and Dark Magician. Fortunately, I did not draw either of those pieces this time around. And we'll just bring out the Dragoon, and I am playing Dragoon again. I forgot to mention that, I guess, well, it didn't come up till now. Instead of DP, I just feel like, because we were going second deck, I've come to realize Dragoon, just its ability to close games was just so critical that I decided to go back to it instead of DP. But if you want to play DP for the more grind game, that's totally up to you. It really depends on your preference. So I am going to pop the Gamma with Dragoon, but because of Prosperity, he's just going to take 500. Of course, I'm not going to pop the Driver, as tempting as it is to inflict a little bit more damage, but if I do that, then Driver would be in the grave and the Gamma would be live again if he has another one. So we're just going to pass turn there. So he's going to start off with the Imperm, and I decided not to negate here just because I was thinking, okay, well, if he has triple tactics talent, I don't want to have to, waste the Dragoon negate on it right away if I negate it with Infinity. But at the same time, if he has talents, then obviously I would have just lost anyways, because he would just do anything else to bait out Dragoon, and then talents, you would take the Dragoon and pop and burn and kill me for game. So I might as well have just negated, but really it doesn't make much of a difference. All it does is that Infinity is just at 2100 attack now. Anyways, he uses Tenki to add that Fractal, and he's going to use the Fractal's effect to Foolish, and he's going to Foolish that Wagtail. I know you can't really see it on the screen there. So he's going to use Turquoise to special itself, and then use that effect to try to special from hand or grave. And I decided to just negate with Dragoon, only because I was just worried if he goes into, for example, assemble Nightingale, and then if he plays Zeus, then he'd just be able to clear my field. I'm not sure if they're all on that build anymore. I don't know if my thought process was a little outdated, but I do negate it by pitching the Feather Duster. So he's going to special the Canary, and then that's going to special out the Wagtail, and the Wagtail is going to be able to add the Bird Call. So he's going to overlay those two, go into Recital Starling, use that effect, add the Sapphire, or is that Cobalt? He's going to activate the Bird Call, and then adds the Sapphire. So he's going to special out the Cobalt with the Bird Call effect, and then Cobalt effect. He is going to add the Canary. So that roll would have been really useful if I took it off Prosperity. But unfortunately, I didn't really have the hand to do that because I needed that Core Engrave to be able to even activate Repair Plant to add something. Although I guess I did have the Naxxter, so I guess I could have. But anyways, he's going to go into another Recital Starling, use that effect again. This is why, a lot of players are calling for this card to at least be limited. He's going to add, I believe, another Wagtail. So now I believe he is entering Battle Phase. And so this is interesting. I never really noticed this effect. Basically, with Recital Starling, aside from not being destroyed by battle, both players will actually take damage. Or I believe, no, never mind. You do, it can get destroyed. But the thing is, he attacks Dragoon, we both take 4,000, and then attacks Infinity, I take 21. So basically, I lost my life points while he had a little bit higher, so he was able to pull this game. So that was a really cool move. So we are going into game 3. Alright, so we are moving on to game 3, and I do decide to go second. I'm still debating whether that's still the right move. I mean, the board they put up is quite scary, but going first, it can be a hit and miss for us. It can either just really brick or have Dragoon and Infinity set up. So I figured, I'll take my chances and still try to go second, as that's what this deck is trying to do. So he's actually going to start with Small World. So he's going to reveal that Nerval, and he's going to reveal the Dinotherium. So he's going to banish both of those cards, so that he can add the Turquoise from deck to hand. Next, he is going to activate Fractal's effect. I know you can't see it, sorry about that again. And he's just going to be able to Foolish the Cobalt. So he's going to special out the Turquoise, which will then bring out the Cobalt, the Cobalt. And then Cobalt effect will add the Nerval. So he's just going to overlay that, go into Recital Starling, use that effect, detach, and add the Sapphire. So he's going to special out the Nerval and the Sapphire with, Sapphire's effect, and overlay into another Recital Starling, and he's going to be able to detach the Nerval and add the Wagtail. And then of course Nerval also triggers because it was sent to grave, and he's going to be able to add the kit. Next, he's just going to overlay the 2 Starlings to go into Utopic Future, and then overlay again into Utopic Draco Future. Next, he's gonna normal the kit, use that effect. So he's gonna banish 4 to summon out the Shurug, and then he'll just link those two away and go into Fergit. And then kit's gonna trigger, and he's just gonna foolish the Fractal, and Shurug's gonna trigger, and he's gonna add the Karis. Next, Fergit effect to special from hand, and he'll bring out the Wagtail, and then Wagtail effect. He's gonna be able to add the Bird Call. Then he'll activate the Bird Call, add the Canary. Next, he's gonna link, go into the Simorg, and of course, Fergit's effect also triggers. So he's just gonna draw one and put another card back to the bottom of the deck. Effective Karis, he's gonna pitch. I can't quite remember what he pitched for that one. Next, Karis' effect, and he's gonna special out the Double Dragon Lord, and then he's gonna now use Canari's effect to special itself, and also special out the Sapphire. And he's gonna overlay into Ensemble Blue Robin, and then Wagtail will just use its effect engrave to attach it itself as a material, and then in end phase, Simorg is gonna special out Mist Valley Apex Evian. So at this point, we're dealing with, you know, essentially 2 bounces, Omni Negate, and a Monster Negate. And you know, I was honestly just gonna scoop. I was like, the only thing that can help me here is Dark Ruler Nomura, which I didn't have, but to be honest with you, I couldn't believe it. As my 6th card, I actually drew the Dark Ruler, the one card that would save me. And something my opponent was telling me after this game was that he forgot, or rather he accidentally cited out the Oath, which would have stopped Dark Ruler by banishing it from grave and negating that effect. But unfortunately for me, I just had the top deck of a lifetime and drawing that Dark Ruler as my 6th card. So we are going to start with that Dark Ruler, and it just completely shuts him off. Really didn't have anything else. And luckily my other hand, the rest of my hand rather, was quite good. I did hard draw one of the Dark Dragoon package, but at the same time I had the extenders. It's just that I was missing those going second cards until I drew that Dark Ruler for turn. So now it's looking pretty good for me. It really depends on what that final card is, but so we're gonna add the Emergency, and it looks like that final card was the Droll, which is okay because I drew Machine Dupe. So I was pretty lucky here. So we're gonna bring out 2 Cyber Dragons. So we're just gonna overlay, go into Nova, use that effect. Oh, rather, I don't have a Cyber Dragon grave yet, so I can't use the effect. So I'm just gonna contact fuse into Mega Fleet first. I'm just trying to get rid of as many monsters as possible right now. I mean, he's of course not taking any damage because of Dark Ruler. So we're just gonna use Nova's effect now. Go and bring out that Cyber Dragon, overlay into Infinity. We're gonna attach the Ensemble Robin as material with the Infinity. So we just have 4 more monsters to go to get rid of. And I decided to just overlay into another Nova here. I mean, not quite necessary. I guess it was more so for the next turn I can just bring out another Infinity and have 2 Infinities on board, and they can each engage once per turn. It's not a hard once per turn, so it's once per turn per copy. But just remember, you can't go into Infinity using Nova's material more than once per turn, so that's why I can't just bring out the Infinity right now. I would have to wait till the next turn. So it looks like, or rather I am using the Anaconda effect, and like I said, I did hard draw the Dark Magician, but we can bring out the Dragoon, and so it's looking pretty good for us. The tide really turned just with that single Dark Ruler. So because he's not taking damage, we're not really doing much of math here. We're just popping 2 monsters with Dragoon and just attacking the other 2. And I just passed turn there. Looks like my opponent draws Gamma for turn, and that's it for the match. Alright guys, so that was it for another live duel replay. Hope you enjoyed that. Let's hope that the next ban list in January will be favorable for us. Take care guys.